Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're all doing very well. This afternoon I'm going to be doing another movie review. This movie is a horror film from the United States, English language, released in the year 2017, directed by Don Mancini, and this film is called Cult of Chucky. So Cult of Chucky is part of the Chucky and Child's Play series. Basically, it was about this killer who had died in a toy store and his soul was confined inside a doll and basically known as Chucky. And so it's been going on for a long time, this series, and now Cult of Chucky takes place with a survivor of previous Chucky sort of events, and she has been led to believe that Chucky didn't exist. In fact, it was all in her head, and so that she was blamed for a lot of the things that Chucky did, so she's put into a mental institution. So she was in a very high security institution, but now she's been downgraded into a medium security, and so she goes there and she starts to come to terms with her illness. She starts to believe that, okay, maybe it was all in my head, but then as therapy, the doctor involved actually gets a Chucky toy. Now, this toy, she starts to have second thoughts about this, but then strange things start to happen, and she believes that maybe Chucky is back and he's up to something, and maybe this had nothing to do with her psychology. So whether or not that is true, that's something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on Cult of Chucky. This is a franchise, as I said. It started in the 80s and it's been going on for a very long time, and a lot of these Chucky movies haven't been very good. I really appreciated the first Child's Play because of what it was. It was basically this possessed doll, and it was actually quite funny, and just the personality of Chucky is what really got me into it. But then lately you've got, you know, The Seed of Chucky, Curse of Chucky, Bride of Chucky, so many Chucky movies where I think to myself, alright, well, it's not really providing anything new. And so yes, you do get introductions into new characters, and it never loses that wicked sense of humour that the Child's Play series had. But I just thought, okay, Chucky is really losing its steam a little bit. So I come into Cult of Chucky not really expecting much, and I didn't really get that much. I will say that expectation levels weren't very high because I knew what type of movie this would be. It's not a movie that is going to knock you over with anything brilliant, but it is a fairly fun experience for the 80 minutes that it goes for. And ultimately, the reason why you want to watch Cult of Chucky is for Chucky himself. And I think Chucky does deliver in this film. It's a different kind of look that this whole film has. It's a very surreal, it's a very weird sort of inclusion in the series, and I really appreciated that. A lot of people didn't like it because it was a little bit different, and I can understand you not liking something that is so familiar in a franchise, but for me, I always like films that are willing to shape it up a little bit, and that's exactly what Cult of Chucky does. There are some very weird moments of cinematography in this film. I thought the editing was fairly good. A lot of people didn't like the editing, but I thought it was okay, and it just gives you that sense of discomfort, is that this whole mental institution, there's something wrong about this institution, and it does give you very vague descriptions of what happened in the past, especially with this doctor, that I thought was very disturbing. And so the whole movie has a very sinister tone to it, but when Chucky comes into the film, it really does alleviate that sinister tone, and it does go down good old sort of Child's Play territory. And so the kills in this film were actually quite brutal. In fact, I think this is the best part of the film. Not only is Chucky actually funny again, but he also delivers some pretty brutal kills that will appeal to the more hardened horror fan. And so Don Mancini definitely ups the ante as far as kills are concerned in this movie. So the way that Chucky looked as well, I thought, you know, he actually moved like a doll. You know, this is a possessed spirit, but ultimately it is a doll. And I really like the very awkward movements that Chucky made. It actually felt like this is a doll that has come to life. And so I actually liked the way that Chucky looked. I thought, you know, the voiceover was very good. Brad Dourif, I thought, you know, his voice as Chucky, especially Chucky's laugh. I really like Chucky's laugh, and he has that charm to Chucky that you would appreciate in previous films. And so Chucky is the best part of this movie, but unfortunately Chucky's not in it as much as I really wanted it to. So it does focus on the story, and I thought the story was a little bit weak. Is that the story behind this main character? She's confined to this wheelchair, she's had these horrible moments in her past, but I just wasn't that interested. And you got the doctor, and you think there's something up with the doctor, but once again the doctor is not that interesting. So there's a lot of parts in this film where I was just waiting for Chucky to come back, and so the story just didn't captivate me as much as it really needed to in order to have Chucky off screen for as much as he is. So when he's on screen, I thought it was really good, very entertaining, had me laughing, had me cringing at the violence, but then those periods in between that, I just thought it didn't work, is that the story didn't captivate me. I just thought that it was lacking real passion as far as story development is concerned. It was more a case of just waiting for the big show, and the big show is Chucky, but I just didn't didn't have Chucky on screen as much as I really wanted him to be on screen. So there are a few developments in this story that I thought, okay, well, that's a pretty neat inclusion, and I was fairly happy that I watched the film. But as I said, it's nothing special. Is that if you aren't a fan of the Child's Play sort of series, the Chucky series, then Cult of Chucky is not going to win you over, because it is different, it is weird, but I just thought the story was lackluster and it didn't really hold up whenever Chucky was off the screen. So it's not a great film. I wasn't expecting it to be, but I still got a few laughs out of it, and I got some impressive kills as well. So overall, for Cult of Chucky, going to give this one 2 stars. It was bordering on 2.5, but I just thought that the scenes without Chucky just left a lot to be desired. Alright guys, that's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later. Bye.